Hello, America. It's Aaron Anderson here. I am going to tell you about this very rough year I've had since I quit my petitioning job that I've worked in for 14 years, a million miles, over 8,000 locations around the United States. Anyway, um, I'm actually wearing the shirt that I was stabbed in. Well, actually, I bought two of them, but the other one's bloody. But I loved it so much, I bought two of them. And ended up getting stabbed, saving this woman's life in Venice Beach this year. And that was back in July. And I went through severe trauma and PTSD from it and a lot of panic attacks. And I ended up broke in a parking lot in LA, not knowing where to go in my campaign van that I'd lived in for 14 years, a million miles. I mean, it's the only way you can do it and make any money out of this industry. I mean, a lot of my friends died on the road chasing this big money and promises of money. And, that's another reason I I quit is because I should have died in the industry as well. But my Be Human period nonprofit that I was starting, my reason for doing that is because it's not about the money. I mean, you can chase money all you want, and I did a million miles around this nation, and I've done a lot of wonderful things for many communities and cities in America, and helped homeless people along the way and other people and petitioners in emergencies and times of danger. But, I quit and basically for about 15,000 miles, I bought a bunch of, you know, products and supplies for homeless people and gave away tents and backpacks and shirts and clothes and shoes and, you know, lanterns and knives and lighters and jackets and hats and all kinds of stuff. And I kept giving away and giving away and giving away. And I had great expectations that, with my Be Human period nonprofit, that I was gonna, fundraise so much money and change the world. And what ended up happening is I just ended up giving all my money away and helping tons of people in 15,000 miles, which was a blast. And, these people need it the most. And it was great to see joy on their face. And, I didn't really get any friends out of it because most of these people don't have cell phones. But, you know, so anyway, that's the reason why I was in the LA parking lot with no money after being stabbed. And I raised $150 from a guy I met in San Diego, a really good guy. And I found one Facebook friend. I for weeks I tried to find somewhere to go. I mean, I don't really have any friends, and my family lived all the way in Georgia, and due to things with my dad, and I don't have any anger against him. He has more unforgiveness against me, I guess. But I love my mom very dearly. But when you're on the road for 14 years, working 7 days a week, and your jobs end and start and end and start, and it's hard to make friends. You know, most of my friends, like I told you, died on the road, including one of my former petitioning bosses, Edie Baggett, who was like a mother to me in the political field, and I dearly miss her. And anyway, so I raised $150 to go up to this friend on Facebook's messenger. I messenger, and she picked up the phone and told me her situation, Carol Anderson, and that's Carole Anderson, and she had my last name, so I thought she was like a long lost relative or something. And I was like, oh, great, the community of Santa Cruz that I dearly love and I've done so much for. And I've been back in anyway, I made it up to her house, and basically from everything, my neck injury acted up, and by the time I got there, my back injury was bad. So I basically took a day off to rest inside her house and ran her to the grocery store. And then the next day, I helped her go to pick up her mental health medication and grocery store, and took her to the beach because she had a wheelchair and one leg. And I basically just, offered to pay her full rent, which was only $400, and live in her driveway, and, help her as much as I can around the house because she, only had one leg. And, I was helping her get her laundry started and starting cleaning up her kitchen and water her plants. And, I basically offered to be her servant because I just, I was so terrified because of Southern California. A few other things happened, and it was just very, very dangerous. And so I just didn't feel safe. And I was actually going to just live in my van in her driveway and not drive it and try not to go anywhere. And the third day into it, everything went wrong, and she started demanding money, and she said she didn't trust me, and I was trying to get her to go up and see my old landlord in San Jose, and I put a deposit down for the rent and all kinds of stuff. We made a verbal rent agreement and everything, and she went crazy on me and started threatening to destroy my stuff, and and making money demands and giving me time frames to get her the money. I just, it was a Sunday, and she's just so paranoid, I guess, because and whacked out because she smokes so much weed. I don't know if she's on any other drugs, but she's mentally ill. I know that. But anyway, everything went horribly wrong, and I tried to get my stuff out, had a major panic attack. She called the cops. I ran over to the hospital because my chest was hurting, and made a 911 emergency phone call and a YouTube video on this YouTube channel of what exactly just happened. And when the cops showed up, they basically arrested me because Carol Anderson said I hit her in the head with a box and threatened to stab her with a knife. And I feel very strongly about actually protecting human life, and not having people threatened. Another thing that I actually did this year for Santa Cruz was, if you see that guy in the background throwing out the gang signs, he's a pretty big guy. He's a lot bigger than I am. He was a homeless guy, and he lived on the streets downtown Santa Cruz, and he was a very violent, threatening menace to society. He said he had gun warrants out of San Jose, and I mean, if you show this picture to anyone, they will, store owners, residents, anyone, they will wreck it. Law enforcement. His mom also lived on the streets with him, and he would literally, if people walk by him, he would threaten to kill them, whether it be a tourist or, a business owner or whatever. And he played loud gangster rap music that everyone hated. And I mean, he'd yell at him down the street, "I'm going to beat you up. I'm going to kill you." All this stuff. I mean, and, he was in and out of jail, and the cops never did anything about it. I mean, just death threats and threats of violence and everything else. And it was really sad. And I actually happen to understand that he's just a big kid that never grew up, and he's living on the streets. And I saw some good in him, and I actually put him to work for my nonprofit last year. And I gained his trust, fed him some good hamburgers from Five Guys downtown Santa Cruz, and paid him from the donations that we raised and stuff. And this year, I was back in Santa Cruz with my mom for her birthday, and he was like, "Hey, my dad just got out of prison up in Redding. And my sister's up there, and I need to get somewhere safe." And he had violently threatened me multiple times, even working on the fundraiser. And I have severe PTSD from violence, but I mean, he did it to everybody. It wasn't something I was necessarily looking forward to because of, but I got him transported all the way up there to Redding, and got him off the streets, helped the community. And I've even had people this year, um, while I'm on trial for this Carol Anderson charges and some kind of Sonoma County charges. And that, literally somebody said I made some phone calls up in Rohnert Park, and, you know, threats or whatever. And but anyway, we'll get into that later. This guy also in the picture, he's a homeless guy in Santa Cruz. You'll probably know this guy. He's a really wonderful guy, godly guy. He just helps everyone out, and nicest guy. He has a little dog. Um, Same time I met the guy in the background, I met this guy, and him and his dog slept in my front seat in my van for a while until I had to go up to Sonoma County to work on a firefighter petition so that you guys could vote in Sonoma County on raising more funding for firefighters, EMTs, and equipment, which is what you voted on this year, 2024, on your ballot. But I took him up to Sonoma County to work on a petition, and it just I saw the best in him, and I thought he'd be great at it. He made some money, you know, decent money, and anyway, um, also some other stuff I've done for Santa Cruz is my first fundraiser back in 2020. I helped a homeless veteran named Gabriel, who was basically disabled from being run over by a car. I mean, a horrible situation. And I was raising money for him, helping him sell some stuff. Had a yard sale for him on New Year's Day up on West Cliff. And, you know, Santa Cruz actually helped get him off the streets, and he ended up in the homeless veteran services, and he got transferred down to Monterey County. Now he lives in veterans housing down in Monterey County, and so he's off the streets. And I've volunteered at Food Not Bombs just to like play music and cheer up the homeless people, and you know just inspire people with the music, and I love that. And during 2020, I wasn't there to eat the food because at the time I was making a lot of money. I was just there to cheer everybody up. And I have also contacted the district attorney, investigate. I've talked to a few investigators, Investigator Besk at the district attorney's office in Santa Cruz County, about a drug warehouse up the street from the Santa Cruz County Sheriff's Department. And nobody's called me back on that. And one thing that's really sad about Santa Cruz County is the homeless population is infested with drugs and overrun by drugs, and they need a lot of help. And the streets of downtown are I've been offered so many drugs downtown Santa Cruz. And there's a lot of gangs that come in from the Bay Area, Oakland, San Francisco, and surrounding areas, which makes it dangerous. And they also come down just to sell drugs. And it's really sad. It's there's a lot of car break-ins there. There's a lot of violence. And I want to do, I've always, when I'm on the streets of downtown Santa Cruz, I always look to keep it safe, and look out for everybody. And up to Sonoma County, where they're also pressing charges on me, basically just alleged phone calls and whatever that they're saying. These charges were pressed on me in July. Um, the same month I was almost robbed on the beach in Santa Monica, and then stabbed in Venice Beach, and then almost brutally injured by a mob of people in Huntington Beach, and over a misunderstanding. I just want a picture of myself with a rose. Um, you know, that it all happened in 1 month, and then I guess my mechanic up in Rohnert Park, Sonoma County, um, this year I had my transmission fixed by him. He charged me $600 too much. He refused to give back thousands and thousands of dollars of possessions from me. I had to throw a protest, get the police involved to get most of them back. Still didn't get them all back. He withheld the keys from me after my transmission was fixed, so I landed on the streets, and that went horribly wrong. And then I had another van there towed that was disabled. The speedometer went out of it, and I had it towed to his shop, and he literally, just out of spite, had it towed within 2 hours of arriving there. Didn't even call me, not one phone call. And he worked on that van, and I had paid him thousands and thousands of dollars to fix that van. And that specific problem, the speedometer was going in and out, and it finally failed, and we had even talked about a price and everything on it, and he said he could fix it. And he's just he calls himself Johnny at Twins Auto Clinic in Rohnert Park, 5701 State Farm Drive, Site 12. Please, folks, protest this guy. Don't do business. He's a Hispanic guy, and I even gave him a hat with a Mexican flag on it, and I gave him a couple hats, and he didn't even care that I was, to be proud that he was a Mexican. He just said he didn't even want it, but he still has a bunch of my possessions, and he's evil, and supposedly he even goes to some church there in Rohnert Park, but in July he pressed some charges, or at least that's who I think it is. I'm not quite sure who even pressed the charges. And it took them literally 2 months to actually, I guess the DA to press charges. The police took the report, and the DA pressed charges 2 months later, a couple weeks after the Carol Anderson incident happened, which there was, Sonoma County didn't know that there was no evidence down in Santa Cruz County, so they waited that long. Probably don't have much evidence of anything, and both counties are pressing serious charges on me. And due to me quitting back in April my petitioning job and trying to expose political corruption, I've been receiving death threats and threats of violence with multiple people: Weston Mickey, Charles French, Scott Allen. I received phone calls and text messages. Some of it is on my Facebook page, Aaron Anderson. You'll see me in a white Malcolm X Memorial Foundation t-shirt. Well, actually, I think, I've made them private, but anyway, investigators, please investigate these people. And by the way, up in Sonoma County, I also made a report with the DEA on a business up the street from my mechanic shop who's selling Schedule I narcotics. And oh yeah, and one last thing, which I think might be my biggest accomplishment of my life. I was very proud to have done this for my now wife, Sierra Allen Nicole. I got her away from her pimp in Compton. She was basically being sex trafficked, strung out on drugs, and she was mentally ill, and this guy was teaching her that it was a fun thing to do to prostitute herself, and she was actually being beat, raped, and all of her money was being taken from her. She never had a dime. And she thought she could make a ton of money, and she never did. So I actually was going to give her a petition job and train her to legally solicit people and do something good for America. And you know, the whole situation was horrible. This guy was very violent and dangerous, and a wanted felon with guns and everything else. And you know, had to make reports to human trafficking people, deal with investigators with crimes that happened while she was, being taught to do these things, and talking to the district attorney, two district attorneys of San Diego County. And now she's out of sex trafficking. She's off the drugs, doesn't even smoke marijuana, and she's back with her mom. And West and Mickey actually pretty much destroyed the progress that we made, trying to get her back with a good, decent relationship with her mom. Her mom's relationship was torn apart because of West and Mickey, and he threatened to have her extort me, and her sisters basically end up extorting me because of West and Mickey. And on one of my other videos, she actually admits to West and Mickey extorting me and using her to extort me. And what I've basically suffered from these people in the political industry. West and Mickey was a petitioner and involved with all these people, and because of him, I was also wrongfully arrested on my way up to Sonoma County to turn myself into for a warrant on that crime I told you that I did not know that I committed, but I was being a good citizen, and that is the downfall of everything. I was being stalked, threatened, and people threatening to show up at my court date and fly from other parts of the nation like Scott Allen was. He threatened to, it's on the paid petitioner website. And America, I have a lot of information for you, and I just want to inform the general public and help America like I've been doing. And I'm crying out to America right now. If you can have it in your heart to donate. My van was crashed, and after it was stolen, and I was living in it, trying to make it both these court dates. Now I'm on the streets. I'm trying to raise money for a new vehicle, so I can make it to my court dates, and money for a hired lawyer for both counties, which is $10,000 for each county due to these charges. And because my public defender's office has failed me, I asked her to extend court dates due to the violent threats, and she didn't even, it's a whole mess. But I definitely need a paid lawyer and a decent vehicle, folks. So if you can get a hold of me or my mom at BeHuman, that's 3 words, BeHumanPeriod @gmail.com. If you can send money or help in any way, I appreciate it. I would definitely appreciate you sharing this video with all of my friends, or all of your friends, since I don't have any friends, and family and neighbors. And I'm signed up to be on a few podcasts very shortly, and news media. Please, if you would reach out to me, and I'll give you my stories. I would love to tell my stories before I either wind up dead or in jail or prison, which is where they're trying to basically send me. These people in the political industry have been working with the DAs and the victims, the supposed victims, to do all kinds of things to me. And if you type BeHuman into anything, BeHumanPeriod.org, that's my nonprofit website that I haven't fully been able to work on yet. I just generated it with AI, but type in "be human" period to anything on the internet, any social media or anything, and I own it. Um, you can Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Threads, YouTube, and my YouTube logo on my YouTube channel is actually a picture of the caterpillar from Alice in Wonderland. So that's how you can know you're there. Like and subscribe. Watch some of my videos, and we will hopefully defeat. You can. I can hopefully defeat these charges, but um, you know. Anyway, thanks for watching all the way to the end, and God bless.